Hey, welcome back. Got one today that I've been kind of excited about trying. I finally got my hands on it, but we're going to get into it right after this. All right, we have Dry Fly. This is from Washington State. Let me look here on the back. Distilled in Washington State and Indiana, it says. So probably has some MGP mixed in, but this is a straight bourbon whiskey. It says Dry Fly Straight Bourbon 101. Bourbon whiskey aged 3 years. It is 101 proof. That's why they call it Bourbon 101. I have not had the cork out. I did pull this off during the little break there. It's got some trouts here on the top of it. Nice bottle, Dry Fly. But this is distilled by them. Now, the mash bill on this thing. So this uses a unique mash bill from other bourbons. This has, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Tritacale in it. So it's 55% corn, 45% Tritacale. And what Tritacale is a hybrid grain that is wheat rye mixed. It was bred in the late 19th century in Scotland and Germany, but it's since, so anyway, that's what they use in this. And it's interesting because I haven't tried a bourbon with that particular grain type in it. So, it's interesting. Interesting to see. Good cork pop there. Let's go ahead and pour some and start getting into it. It's a lighter amber color, but it is 3 years. Now, I know they did come out with one before this that was 4 years. But this is a 3 year, but only has to be 2 to be straight bourbon. But let me give it a swirl here. It is a lighter amber color, but it does have a nice edge on it. And we'll check the legs when they start coming up. Let me check the swirls in this. It is appearing lighter, excuse me, than the 101. I'm not getting a lot of action going on in the juice itself here. But again, that edge is really glassy. I mean, it is nice. The legs are forming well on it, even though it is a lighter amber. Let me start nosing this thing. Ooh, interesting. I am getting a buttery nose on this, a creamy buttery nose. Wow, that is nosing way lower than 101, I can tell you that. So it does not have a punchy ethanol kick to it. Let me get a little more air in this. There is an oaky note coming through on the nose, but it's an undertone. But it has a good butterscotch caramel nose. A little vanilla coming through. I'm trying to pick a fruit for you. It's going to be a fresher fruit, not a dark, a lot of dark notes in this. Boy, that nose is unique. My mouth is watering right now just from nosing this thing. There is a brighter kick to this, maybe a licoricey type note coming through. Yeah, there is a lot going on with this nose on this bourbon. I'm excited to try it, but let me go ahead and get the tongue wet here. That is different. That is different. It is soft, easy to drink, I can tell you that. Don't like to give a lot of notes on that first sip, but I can tell you it's drinking way below the 101 proof. If I put this up against Wild Turkey 101, Wild Turkey's a lot hotter than this. I can guarantee that, and it's not hot. Wow. There is some good oak notes coming through, but that butter across the tongue, it's almost like it's a creamy palate on this, the notes coming through. A little sweet up front, goes into more of the caramel's there, but there's some spice notes coming through on this, but everything's kind of soft and subdued. I don't know, I'm not that familiar with the Tritacale, but it's almost like there's not a lot of wheat coming through, but there's also not a lot of rye coming through, but they're kind of blended. This drink's more like some of the scotches I've had before with that butterscotchy note. Oh, wow. That is really, really good. There is a fruit note coming through. I would say maybe like a cherry strawberry mix type fruit note coming through on this thing. Not floral at all, but the oak is coming through, and it can be a little perfumey, but not. This is an undertone, like a very soft oak, like a young oak coming through on this. It does not dip into any type of leathers or tobaccos. This thing here, if I didn't know any better, if I didn't read the bottle, I would have guessed this to be 88 to maybe 91 proof, but not 101. I would not have guessed that. Very, very soft for what it is. Easy to drink, well balanced. There's some good flavors, good notes coming through on this thing. Let me focus on that finish. Peppery. There's the black pepper coming through. It dominates the finish, which is weird because I'm not getting hardly any black pepper on the tongue. It's all on the finish. It's like, there's some little spice notes, maybe a little bit of undertone of cinnamon in there on the tongue. And then once it hits the finish, it's like black pepper, bam. But it's not overwhelming, but it is the dominant note along with some oak on the finish as well. Oh, and some black cherry coming through on that finish. So there's the black pepper, black cherry, oak. That's what I would say the finish is. The front, the initial sip, very cool on the tongue. It's not, there's no heat coming off this thing hardly, but I do get a little bit of a hug on it after the swallow. A little warmth. It's like a little bitty tiny hug, but it's there. The finish does last, but that black cherry goes away and you're left with just black pepper and oak. I mean, really. And then after another swallow, you could pick up a few hints of black pepper on the finish, but the rest of it is dissipated. But that's indicative of how light it is. It's just not going to linger as long as some of the other bourbons. But I really, really like this bourbon. I think it's very unique. I like it. This is a small batch. So, wow. Good job there, Dry Fly Distillery out in Washington State. So guys, with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up as always. Please like and subscribe. Hit the bell down there for notifications, and I promise I'll keep bringing you these videos.